What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Whoopi Studio, and today I'm talking about something different. I'm talking about a new show called One Tree Hill. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it or maybe even watched it. I hope so. It's a really good show. I highly recommend it. Compared to Riverdale, which I mainly talk about, this is so much better. Acting's great, writing's great, and everything. I wanted to kind of like review each episode, but there was no way that I was going to have it based on how fast I was going through these episodes. And I kind of wanted to start doing that again, kind of do end of season breakdowns. So I thought, because seasons 1 and 2 were just kind of meh, I thought season 3, because I literally just finished it today, would be a good place to start and kind of just like talk about what I thought of the season. Because season 3 was really good. I liked it a lot better than the first two seasons. Just the characters and the storylines, and especially I hear there's an episode this season is like one of the best of the whole show. And there's 9 seasons of this, so I do have a lot more to get through. But I think this season was really good overall. Let's kind of start out with talking about the whole Lucas, Brooke, Peyton love triangle. I'm personally team Lucas and Brooke. And I know there's a lot of people disagree with me. I hope some people will at least agree with me. I don't know what it is about them. It's just they seem cuter. I feel like their chemistry is better. I know they were a couple. I'm not sure if it was during this season or like the season before, but you could tell like they definitely have good chemistry. I like their storyline, how all the whole like friends with benefits or non-exclusive and how that like transform into a real relationship, and the whole their scenes in the rain, that one episode, they were just really well done, especially when we got to the finale, where she's like, do you have feelings for Peyton? And you know, and she's like, why do you not let me all the way in? Sophia Bush did a great job with them this season overall. I mean, she's one of the better actresses on this show, maybe even the best actress, honestly, on this show. She's definitely one of my favorite characters. But yeah, I like Lucas and Brooks together, definitely more than Lucas and Peyton. Again, that's just my opinion. I just find their storyline more interesting. Lucas and Peyton are kind of bland to me. But yeah, this whole love triangle kind of like reemerges this season, which I'm not totally against because I do like love triangles. I mean, if you've watched my channel for a long time, you know that I like love triangles. But I like Lucas and Brooke better. On the flip side to that, Peyton and Jake do briefly reunite this season, and she even does propose to him, but that quickly gets shut down because she says she loves Lucas in her sleep, and he's like, you should go back to Tree Hill and determine if you still like Lucas. Spoiler alert, she does. This is I didn't like how they brought this whole Peyton and Lucas dynamic back. I mean, I didn't like them in the first place. They're probably in game, just based on how the show started and the direction that they're going. But yeah, I didn't really like how they sprung this back on us in the school shooting. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about the school shooting in a little bit. But yeah, I didn't really like how they just suddenly sprung, because I really liked Lucas and Brooke and Peyton and Jake. Like, those are the two in-game couples in my mind. Like, I really like both of them, especially Peyton and Jake. They just have, like, the best bond. Like, they're definitely underrated. They're definitely my favorite Peyton relationship so far. Maybe they'll surprise me with a different one in the show, because she's also with Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy. I'm not even going to go into detail on that. That was just crazy that was even a plot line. But yeah, it kind of also causes a rift between Brooke and Peyton, to the point where she literally slaps Peyton for kissing Lucas and still having feelings for him. I am on Brooke's side here, considering, you know, Peyton and Lucas did go behind her back in season 1, so the fact that this is happening all over again upsets her. So I do kind of get where Brooke's coming from. Then again, at least Peyton's being honest this time, where she was lying to Brooke back in season 1. I do appreciate Peyton being honest. But I'm also upset that they ruined Peyton and Jake. Like, that was such a good relationship, and they're now going back to the love triangle that I know is a central part of the show, but I personally just don't. I don't know. I know Lucas and Peyton are probably in game just of how the show's setting that up, but I really wish they would have given Peyton and Jake a better shot. I mean, they were so cute together. I'm surprised they even re-explored them this season, but it definitely seems like we're at the end of it. Let's talk about Peyton and her whole mom storyline. I actually really like the actress who played her mom, Ellie. I don't remember her name, but I think I really like the bond that the two shared and how it kind of went from her not even liking Ellie at all to them forming a really special bond over music, and how, you know, she really wanted to support her mom through her cancer while Ellie was trying to protect her from it, and just how you can really see their relationship slowly develop throughout the whole season. And then just when they're so close and just when their record's done, Ellie dies, and it's super sad. Hillary Burr did a great job of breaking down seeing her mom on the bed. I do wish, I think it was kind of rushed, her whole grief storyline, because I think since the school shooting came so after that, I do think, like, so soon after that, I do think it was kind of rushed over. I wish we got more into that. It just kind of felt done, but I'm sure we'll get more of her grief in the future, and I really hope that, because I do think the actress did a great job at, like, breaking down, and I really like Peyton and her mom's storyline. That was definitely one of the better things this season. But that's kind of those three. I mean, I like Brooke. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. From what I've been saying, I do really like her character. I like Lucas and Peyton okay. Lucas I liked at the start, but now he's just kind of bland to me. Like, I don't know if it's the act. I think the actor does a good job of playing him. While Nathan has had development, Lucas has kind of like stayed the same so far, and maybe that's going to change later on, but that's just my opinion. Let's move on to talk about Nathan and Haley, which are definitely the top tier relationship, I think, in the show. Just definitely the one that you know is going to end up together no matter what. There's no doubt about it. But she's back from tour. She wants a relationship with him. He's still not having it. He's worried. You know, he's just still hurt that she cheated on him, like, you know, abandoned him, like, went on tour. And it's like a slow thing. Like, it's not like a sudden reconciliation. Like, it takes time. But I really do like that they do patch things up. And how at the end of the season they're so happy that they renew their vows again. I like Nathan. I didn't necessarily care for their character arcs this season. I don't think they were as good as maybe the first two, especially the first season. I'm hoping that they'll surprise me. Yeah, I liked how they slowly repaired their relationship. I wasn't a big fan of their individual character arcs. Chris Keller was also still in the picture for a while, more than I expected. I kind of like Chris Keller, though. I mean, he's just a really good antagonist. Like, but he's funny, and that's what unlike Dan, who I'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I do really like how Nathan and Haley were able to repair their relationship and how they're so happy at the end. I really like that. Of course, we'll talk about the cliffhanger of the season at the end. Okay, so let's talk about this new girl, Rachel, redhead, carrot top. She's in town at first. Like, I mean, she's really just coming after Brooke. I mean, Brooke's threatened by her, like, taking her place in the cheer team. She first goes after Lucas. Thankfully, that doesn't last very long. And then she kind of goes after Mouth. And Mouth, what's interesting is that Mouth really develops feelings for Rachel. But the twist is that Rachel doesn't, like, she doesn't feel like she can, like, let Mouth in. I mean, she has her own trauma that she's dealing with and that she has to, figure that out, like, before she can start a relationship. But she also releases the time capsules, and Mouth kind of gets mad at her for that, but then he sees that she really is a good person, even after Brooke continues to sabotage her. It's just, like, one of those, like, classic rivalries between the girls. I mean, it's fun to watch, because at the end of the season, they do kind of, make up in a way. I don't really know how to explain it, but I guess they're on somewhat good terms at the end. As far as Rachel's character goes, I'm still kind of questioning her. I mean, I really didn't like how they ended things off with her character. The whole Uncle Cooper storyline was weird to me. Her being so obsessed with him, really just abandoning Mouth, not giving him a chance. If there's no more of, like, Mouth and Rachel, I mean, she literally kissed him twice. And I'm like, does that mean anything? Like, does she have feelings for him? I mean, I think she cares about him. I don't know if it's, like, super deep feelings, but she must like him, like, a little bit. I mean, obviously, he liked her more. I really like Mouth this season a lot more than the last one, and how he was just saying, I'm gonna find the right girl. I'm not gonna like her for her looks, but more for her personality. And she says, I want a girl who, like, if I want to kiss her, she'll want to kiss me too. I think Mouth's just like the voice of reason, and I'm really glad he was a series regular this season. I think he did a really good job. But yeah, we'll talk more about that cliffhanger later, but I kind of liked Rachel and Mouth, not gonna lie. They were kind of cute at times, but I also just feel bad for him because she literally seduced him. I'm not gonna... So, let's talk about, Dan, and what he's up to. So he's running for mayor. We kind of kick that off, and Karen is running against him. And this is kind of like the Fred and Hermione race in Riverdale. Not really, but kind of a little bit. I kind of wish they dragged this whole mayoral race thing out longer, because, I mean, Dan literally wins like a few episodes after the race starts up, and it just kind of like feels a little bit rushed. I guess just to make room for other things, really setting up Keith's return, which I'll talk about in a second. And yeah, so he's like investigating who tried to kill him in the fire. At first he thinks it's Lucas, and then he eventually settles that it's Keith, because there's some security footage he found of Keith buying liquor, which lands Keith in jail when he comes back into town. But yeah, and then he ends up finding out that Deb was the one who killed him in the fire, and she confesses to Karen, Nathan, and Lucas. They all seem to forgive her. I mean, Nathan was the only one that was kind of mad at her. And I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not a big fan of Deb's character. I mean, I don't like Dan either, but I think Deb's kind of, I don't know. I just didn't like how she was like proud of that she tried to kill him. I'm like, that's literally your husband. Like, you loved him at one point. Like, it's one thing to like try to do it, but it's another thing to like brag about it. Like, I just don't like her character. I think Karen's a lot more sympathetic and friendlier than Deb, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of Deb, but, and then Keith comes back after the whole Jules situation, which I did not like. Keith was kind of boring in season 2, not gonna lie. I mean, I'm sorry. Considering how they ended things with this character, like season 2 is kind of, I did not like season 2. I like few things about it. I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm just going to say it was kind of a mess, season 2. I really like season 3 a lot better, like I said at the beginning. But yeah, Keith was kind of boring in season 2. I didn't really care for his character and the whole Jules and Dan thing. This season, he kind of comes back with a fresh start. You know, he wants to be with Karen. Karen wants to be with him. That's briefly halted when he gets thrown in jail for the attempted murder of Dan, which he didn't do. And then we find out it was Deb. And then Keith gets out of jail. They really don't have any concrete proof that he was the one who burned it, which he did not. Keith and Karen then finally get together. Like I said, they're so cute. Like, I really do like their relationship. Definitely. Here's what's the sad thing about it is that it was cut so short. Like, literally, like, this is what I was worried about. Like, it was cut so short, their relationship, and like now we're at a point where like Karen's sad again. I mean, spoiler alert, Keith dies, which I assume anyone who's listening to this knows that. But let's go ahead and move on to the school shooting, and then we'll talk about the big cliffhanger of season 3. The school shooting, I've heard a lot about this episode, and it's super heavy. My mom watched it with me. It was really good, really sad. It made me feel a lot of things, and it was a really good episode. Pretty much Jimmy Edwards, a kid from season 1 that I personally forgot until they showed him in the recap, brings a gun to school. He's like tired of being bullied, neglected, left in the like the dust kind of. So he brings a gun to school. He shoots it. Ends up shooting Peyton in the leg. He keeps Haley, Nathan, Mouth, Rachel, and other kids hostage in a room, while Brooke is elsewhere. Lucas goes in, gets Peyton, and there's other stuff going on. But yeah, that's kind of everything going on, but pretty much, he's just done with the bullying. He's just so tired of it. He's like, how come, kids like Nathan can get away with what they say on the time capsule, but I get beat up for it? And that's true. It's not fair. Like, Nathan said some nasty stuff to Haley on the time capsule, and she forgave him. But what Jimmy said, like, kids attacked him for it, like, literally beat him up. And I'm like, that's not fair. Like, it's not fair. It doesn't make what Jimmy's doing right, because it's not right. It's, like, really bad what he's doing. Like, literally, like, it's a crime. Like, he would be put in jail for a long time, for if he did come out of this alive, because, spoiler alert, he does, turn the gun on himself at the end, which I was kind of expecting. I'm like, that's literally, they literally started the episode with parental discretion, like, advised or something like that. I'm like, okay, there's gonna be some sort of suicide this episode, and it ended up being him, and that was sad enough. Like, I was actually like crying literally when he did it. And what they really did well is that they made a character that we really didn't know that well. All that we knew is that he was an outsider, and Lucas and Mouth kind of like they grew apart and everything. But yeah, we really didn't know much about this kid, but the actor did such a great job. Colin Fickus, I think is his name. Such a great job. He was probably the best actor in that episode. Like, everyone was good in the episode, but he was like on another level. Like, he played such a hard role and like challenging role, and he really shined in it. Like, props to the actor. He did such a great job of, and just making a character we forgot about, just like really make us feel bad for him. And even though he is doing like a bad thing, like literally like holding guns at people's heads, even though he's doing a bad thing, they really just made us feel for him. I also think that Keith's speech to Jimmy saying, it gets better, I bought the gun, I was planning on using it, that voice inside your head that's telling you there's no way out, it's wrong. And he's like, please just drop the gun, listen to me, we can come out of this together. He's like, it's not going to get better, not after this. He can't erase it, he can't take it back. He wanted them to, when he said he wanted them to like him, I swear, that was just too hard. Against the actor, just did such a great job. And then, yeah, he kills himself, and Keith's he just feels so bad for it. And I'm sure they would have kept him alive, which, his brother Dan literally kills Keith. I was shocked. What's so sad about this is I love Keith. He was one of my favorite characters, like, for the first, I know I said he was kind of boring, but, he's just been one of my favorite characters, like, throughout the whole show so far. And then, literally, things were so happy for him and Karen. And then Dan literally, like, walks up to Keith and shoots him and leaves Jimmy as, like, the murderer. That's awful. It's really awful. And I didn't like how they put that in there. It was like, because I think the episode could have just ended with Jimmy killing himself, and that, like, would have been an ending that would have worked for the episode, and just have the episode be about that, as well as the other relationship stuff going on, which I think worked. But I did not like this ending scene. It really took away from the actual meaning of the episode. It was kind of like a disgrace, a disservice to what the episode should have been, and instead they just ended it like, I'm like, has there been build up to this? He thinks Keith tried to kill him in the fire, and he literally, like, looked at Keith and he's like, he tried to kill me, I'm gonna kill him. It's just so sad. And then he finds out at the end that it wasn't Keith, it was Deb. And he's like so hurt, he's so ashamed. He's like, I literally killed my older brother for nothing. Zero. He shouldn't have killed him at all, obviously, but, and yeah, so now he has to carry around that guilt. It kind of ends off with him, like, getting the murderer thing, like, on his wall, and, like, now somebody knows. It's obviously not the ghost of Keith who put that on there. Somebody knows, and we're gonna have to wait and see when everyone finds out about this, but the school shooting episode was really well done, like I said, and I'm really glad I watched it. I'm glad my mom was able to watch it with me. It was really sad, I just didn't like that ending. We could have put that ending anywhere else in an episode at the end, and it would have worked for me, but just not this one. My mind was already reeling from the whole Jimmy thing. I did not have to deal with Keith getting killed by his brother. I just did not like that, no. And like, it was so random too. Like, Dan literally pulled a gun on him, and then Jimmy like was like that Jimmy's left at the murder, and everyone thinks that he's a murderer, and everyone's upset at him, and they do end up going to Jimmy's funeral, and his mom's the only one there. That's really sad, but I can't go on into this, so let's just kind of talk about the cliffhanger. There's a car crash, which, surprise, I mean, this show just uses car crashes for like everything, like, let's be honest. But it's Nathan and Haley, and then Rachel steals the limo, and Cooper like jumps in with her, and pretty much they collide into each other, both of the cars, and Cooper and Rachel's limo goes into the water. Car breaks, so they're underwater and they can't get out, so then Nathan jumps in and he ends up trapped too, and then it kind of ends off with like his necklace, him and Haley's necklace like floating in the water, and that was like a really good cliffhanger. I'm kind of confused as to why they made Cooper and Rachel the cliffhanger. I mean, obviously Nathan was involved too, but like Cooper and Rachel like aren't even series regulars, and the cliffhanger's about them. I just thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, obviously everyone's gonna survive. I mean, if there's one person who's gonna die, I hope it's Rachel, but I hear she's series regular next season, so she's obviously not going to. I hope everyone survives, though. I actually kind of like Uncle Cooper, not as much as Uncle Keith, but I like Uncle Cooper's like charm and his personality. And he does a good thing, like pushing Rachel away. I mean, he shouldn't have like slept with her after knowing her age, but like he definitely is doing the right thing by pushing her away. And Rachel just being annoying. Like, there was small hope for her before, like there was small hope for her. I had for her mouth to maybe start something, and then she was with literally a 30-year-old, late 20s, somewhere in there. Cooper must be, I don't know. One last thing, Karen's pregnant with Keith's child, but someone else is pregnant. So it's either Brooke, Peyton, Haley, or Rachel. Someone's pregnant. I would hope it's Haley, because that makes them, if like the next step for Nathan and Haley would be having a child, so that would make sense story-wise. But if they're really going to add the drama, it's going to be like Peyton's baby with Jake, or Brooke's baby with Lucas. That would be really good if they did that, just because of the whole love triangle drama. If it's Rachel's baby with Cooper, I swear, like if they did that, I'm like, no, please don't do that. I don't like Rachel enough. If that's the plot that they're heading, I do not like that. But that's kind of it. It's kind of like the season. It was a really good season. I really liked some of these characters and there, and just seeing them develop. And the school shooting episode, again, was really well done by all the actors. Such a great meaning to it. But I did not like how Dan killed his brother. Everything else was good, though. Great season, and I'm excited to start season 4 soon. So comment down below if you're a fan. What do you think of season 3 overall? So thanks everyone for watching my studio. Like, comment, and subscribe, and bye everyone.